6 months ago, my kitchen had roaches. Not one or two. I'm talking the kind where you flip on the light at midnight and they scatter across the counter like they own the place. I called an exterminator. He quoted me $475 for the initial treatment, plus $95 monthly follow-up plan. I almost said yes. Then I spent a weekend reading through old pest control research, and what I found made me cancel that appointment and drive to the grocery store instead. I spent $4 on a single box of borax, and I haven't seen a single roach in my house since. Not one. Here's what nobody tells you. The active ingredient in most professional roach treatments is a bait gel that works through slow-acting ingestion. The roach eats it, carries traces back to the colony, and the colony collapses from the inside. That's the method. That's the science. And the key ingredient that makes it work, boric acid, has been EPA-registered as an insecticide since 1948. It costs less than a cup of coffee. The Malice Handbook of Pest Control, which is the industry Bible, confirms there is no known resistance to boric acid despite decades of use. Roaches can develop resistance to synthetic pyrethroids within a few generations. They cannot adapt to boric acid. That's why it's been working for over 75 years. So why does your exterminator charge $475 instead of handing you a $4 box of borax and wishing you good luck? Because a customer who fixes the problem themselves is a customer who cancels the monthly contract. The recurring revenue model depends entirely on you believing this is too complicated to do yourself. It's not. Let me show you exactly how to do it. The method has 3 parts, and if you do all 3, you won't need a follow-up visit from anyone. Part 1 is the bait. This is what kills the colony, not just the roaches you can see. Mix 1 part boric acid powder with 1 part flour and 1 part sugar. Add just enough water to form a thick paste like cookie dough. Roll it into small, pea-sized balls. You'll get about 40 to 50 from one batch. Place them in every spot. Roaches travel behind the refrigerator, behind the stove, under the kitchen sink, inside cabinet corners, behind the toilet, and along any baseboard gaps where you've seen activity. The sugar and flour attract them. The boric acid does the rest. Here's the important part most people get wrong. Boric acid is a slow-acting stomach poison. The roach eats the bait, walks back to the colony, and dies there. Other roaches feed on the carcass. That's normal roach behavior. And they ingest the boric acid secondhand. One bait ball can cascade through dozens of roaches. If you spray a roach with Raid, you kill that one roach. If you bait with boric acid, you kill the colony. That's the difference between a $4 fix and a $475 contract. Part 2 is diatomaceous earth. This handles the roaches that avoid the bait. Food-grade diatomaceous earth is a fine powder made from fossilized algae. Under a microscope, each particle has razor-sharp edges that cut through a roach's exoskeleton, causing it to dehydrate and die. It's not a chemical. It's a mechanical kill. A 4-pound bag costs about $10 and lasts years. But before we keep going, I need to tell you something real quick. My son bet me I'd never hit 1,000 subscribers. He says I'm too old for YouTube and that nobody wants to watch a guy my age talk about bugs. So if this video is helping you out, hit that subscribe button and help me shut him up at the dinner table. The kid's 22 and thinks he knows everything. Let me have this one. Alright, let's get back to it. Apply a thin, barely visible dusting inside wall cavities through electrical outlet gaps. Turn off the breaker first. Dust behind appliances along the baseboard. Dust under the sink around pipe penetrations. Dust inside cabinet voids. The key is thin. If you can see piles of white powder, you've used too much. Roaches will walk around a heavy application. A light dusting is invisible to them, and they walk right through it. Research from North Carolina State University by Dr. Kobe Shaw confirmed that proper application technique matters more than the amount you use. Part 3 is the one everybody skips, and it's the reason roaches come back even after a professional treatment. You have to cut off their water. Roaches can survive a month without food, but only about a week without water. Every dripping faucet, every leaky pipe under the sink, every wet sponge left on the counter overnight. That's a water station keeping them alive. Fix every leak. Wring out sponges and stand them upright. Dry your sink basin before bed. Eliminate standing water in drip trays under the fridge and under potted plants. The night you take away their water is the night the bait becomes irresistible because it's the only moisture source left. Now, let me hit the 3 mistakes I see people make that guarantee the roaches come back. Mistake number 1 is using aerosol spray cans. That can of roach spray from the hardware store does one thing. It kills the bug you can see. It also leaves a chemical residue that repels other roaches away from the area, which sounds good until you realize it's pushing them deeper into your walls and away from your bait. Spray and bait are working against each other. Ditch the spray. Let the bait do its job. Mistake number 2 is foggers. Bug bombs. They fill your house with pesticide, and studies have shown they don't reach the cracks, crevices, and wall voids where roaches actually live. They coat your countertops and furniture with chemical residue, while the roaches sit safely inside the walls, waiting for it to clear. Foggers are the worst money you can spend on roach control. Mistake number 3 is not maintaining long enough. German roaches, the small ones you see in kitchens, breed fast. A single female produces an egg case containing 30 to 40 nymphs, and she can produce a new case every few weeks. Your bait kills the adults, but the eggs that were laid before you started are protected inside a hard casing called an ootheca. Boric acid cannot penetrate it. Those eggs will hatch in 2 to 4 weeks, and a fresh batch of nymphs will emerge. If your bait is still in place, they'll walk right into it and die. If you cleaned everything up after 2 weeks because you thought the problem was solved, you just gave the next generation a clean start. Maintain your bait for a full 30 days minimum. 60 is better. Now before we continue, if pests in general are driving you crazy, I wrote a complete playbook called Tom's Pest-Free Playbook. It covers ants, roaches, mice, spiders, wasps, every common household pest with the exact DIY methods that cost a fraction of what an exterminator charges. The room-by-room exclusion plan, the forgotten baits, the full 30-day protocol. I went from spending $400 a year on pest control to under $30, and my house has never been cleaner. My son helped me set up the store, so if something breaks, blame him. Links right below this video. Alright, let's keep going. Here's the timeline you should expect. Days 1 through 3, you might actually see more roaches than before. That's normal. The bait is drawing them out of hiding. Don't panic. Don't spray. By day 7, activity should drop noticeably. By day 14, you should see almost nothing. By day 30, if your exclusion and water elimination were thorough, your kitchen goes quiet. The silence is the result. So let's add it up. 1 box of borax, $4. A bag of diatomaceous earth, $10. Fixing a leaky faucet washer, $2. Total cost for a complete roach elimination protocol, about $16. Compare that to $475 for a professional treatment that uses the exact same active ingredient at its core, plus a $95 monthly follow-up that's only necessary because the spray they use is designed to degrade in 3 weeks. Your house, your kitchen, your money. A $4 box of borax and 30 days of patience will do what a $475 exterminator visit does. except you won't ever need to call them back again. If this video helped you out at all, drop a comment and tell me how bad your situation is right now. I read every single one of them, and I'll answer as many as I can. Take care of that home, and I'll see you in the very next one.